Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, this is it. And she said, the tour's just started. I said, no, you don't understand. This is it.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name, where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
The clock is ticking for protesters fighting against the Dakota Access Pipeline. Good evening, I'm Abby Grisey.
And I'm Carter Eckel. Thanks for joining us. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has issued a December 5th deadline for them to leave the protest site. It's one of several recent calls from officials, but protesters are remaining defiant. They say the pipeline will destroy sacred cultural sites and contaminate water. Yasmin Amer has more.
After nearly 5 months of protest, officials are turning up the pressure, telling demonstrators to leave now or face the consequences. But neither the official warnings nor the howling winter weather seem convincing. The Morton County Sheriff's Department warned protesters Tuesday that they'll start blocking supplies and people from entering the campsite. A spokeswoman for the department later clarified that they'd only stick to punishing trespassers. Members of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe who originally filed the lawsuit against the pipeline say they're not budging.
Water is sacred, but it's also good business to protect your water resource.
North Dakota Governor Jack Dalrymple warned protesters about the winter weather, which will only get worse. He said that first responders will no longer be responsible for rendering aid to those who stay. 17 Native Americans who've served under the Obama administration signed a letter asking the president to step in and allow protesters to stay. The CEO of the company building the pipeline is also weighing in, trying to convince protesters the pipeline will be safe.
This pipeline is being built where two existing pipelines exist today that were built through your state in 1982. We've not disturbed any historical sites.
I'm Yasmin Amer reporting.
About 2,000 veterans are planning to go to Standing Rock next week at the time of the deadline to protect the protesters.
That's right, Carter. Local Athens veterans are also taking part in the movement. They will be traveling to North Dakota on Saturday and are looking for help from the community. If you want to help, the Athens Underground is collecting monetary and physical donations. The group is looking for items such as winter clothing, medical supplies, and feminine products. Local organizer Caitlin Perry says the group especially needs items to help them combat extreme weather conditions.
Right now there's over a foot of snow there, so anything that can help keep us warm, propane, batteries, emergency blankets, lighters, that type of stuff.
The store will be accepting donations until Friday afternoon.
Southeast Ohio residents are submitting a petition to the Bureau of Land Management to stop the sale of parcels of Wayne National Forest. The land is being auctioned off for oil and gas purposes on December 13th. Residents are worried the sale could lead to hydraulic fracking in the area. The petition to stop the auction has over 92,000 signatures from citizens all across the country. BLM signed a finding of no significant impact for drilling back in October.
45 acres of land are being given back to the city of Athens in an effort to protect an aquifer. The land is located behind the Laurels of Athens nursing home off of Columbus Road. The property is being donated by Frank Murphy, who developed the nursing home and is still the owner. Murphy does not operate the home, but wanted to ensure the property isn't developed. If Athens accepts the donation, it will cost the city $400 a year in tax revenue.
Good evening and welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Ananda Harris. It's the last day of November and we're ending the month on a warm note. Just check out these temperatures right now. Currently in Athens, we're sitting at 56 degrees, 54 up in the capital of Columbus, and 57 over in Marietta and Ripley. With those warm temperatures, though, we've had some rain across the region. That chance for rain is going to die down during the night. We still have a slight chance at 8 p.m., but then by midnight, the clouds are going to start breaking up a little bit. That chance for rain will go away. Overnight, the lows tonight are 38 degrees in Athens, 35 in Columbus, and our warmest points at 39 degrees in Marietta and New Martinsville. Again, that chance for rain across the region should go away, but we're still going to see those clouds lingering around through tomorrow.
The FBI says terrorist influences may have inspired Monday's attack at Ohio State. Authorities believe al-Awlaki, an American-born cleric, could have inspired Artan. Al-Awlaki was a top leader for al-Qaeda in Yemen until he was killed in a drone strike in 2011. His rhetoric continues to inspire terror attacks.
All we know at this point is that we believe he may have been inspired by Anwar al-Awlaki and or ISIS or ISIL. Our investigation will determine that. It's too soon to draw any type of conclusions.
And while the FBI is suspicious of terrorist activities, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security says they see no direct links. They suspect Artan was self-radicalized.
Ohio hunters aren't harvesting as many deer this season. ODNR says over 18,000 deer were checked by hunters on Monday. That's down from more than 22,000 reported the first day of the deer gun season last year. The current season remains open through Sunday. 2 additional days of deer gun season will be held December 17th and 18th.
President-elect continues to build his cabinet. Coming up, we'll tell you about his latest picks.
A North Carolina officer is not being charged in the shooting death of a black man. The details on the ruling coming up. A Charlotte, North Carolina police officer will not face charges in the fatal shooting of a black resident. Officer Brentley Vinson shot Keith Scott back on September 20th. Scott's wife Rakia shot video during the incident, repeating that Scott did not have a weapon. Despite these claims, officers say Scott did have a weapon. He was also seen entering a store with a lump at his ankle, which law enforcement suspects was a holster holding an illegal weapon.
We cannot know what Mr. Scott's intentions or reasoning were that day, and Officer Vinson could not know that at the time. The reality is that Mr. Scott could have raised his gun and killed Officer Vinson or another officer before any of them could have reacted to the threat.
Lawyers for Mr. Scott's family have said it is possible that Mr. Scott did not understand the instructions because he was recovering from a traumatic brain injury.
House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi will keep her position as the top elected Democrat in the House. House Democrats voted in a secret ballot contest Wednesday morning. Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan lost his bid to unseat Pelosi. Ryan's calls for a leadership shakeup failed to resonate with many Democrats who believe Pelosi's experience is needed for the coming fights against President-elect Donald Trump and the GOP-led Congress.
We come out of this leadership election united as Democrats to take on the challenges that we need moving forward. So, I'm disappointed because I like to win, but I think it was a great discussion for us, and I think the party is better off.
The final vote tally was 134 for Pelosi and 63 for Ryan. That means Pelosi matched her prediction that she would get support of 2/3 of House Democrats.
President-elect Donald Trump continues to build his cabinet, announcing 2 top-level positions Wednesday. His choices for Treasury and Commerce secretaries. Elwin Lopez is in Washington with more details.
Donald Trump announcing 2 top-level positions today. His pick for Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. Trump's former campaign finance chairman says his top priority is tax reform.
We're going to have the most significant middle-income tax cut since Reagan.
Mnuchin is a longtime banker working at Goldman Sachs before starting his own hedge fund. But he isn't without controversy. Critics say Mnuchin can't be trusted after profiting from the housing collapse when others were losing their homes. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren reacting to the pick. His selection as Treasury Secretary should send shivers down the spine of every American who got hit hard by the financial crisis. Mnuchin will be joined by Wilbur Ross as Trump's choice for Commerce Secretary. Ross is a billionaire businessman known on Wall Street as the king of bankruptcy, with a history of going after struggling companies. These announcements come as Carrier Corporation and the president-elect have put the brakes on the air conditioning giant's move to Mexico.
Companies like Carrier
something Trump
are
frequently railed about on the campaign trail.
We're going to stop it dead in its tracks.
The company tweeting, "We're pleased to have reached a deal with President-elect Trump and Vice President-elect Pence to keep close to 1,000 jobs in Indy. More details soon." Carrier previously said it would close 2 plants and lay off 2,100 workers and move operations to Mexico. In Washington, I'm Elwin Lopez.
President-elect Trump will be in Indiana Thursday and will hold a press conference at the Indiana Carrier plant where he'll announce more details about the deal.
On Wall Street today, a drop in utilities and technology left the S&P finishing flat. Here's a look at stocks of local interest.
Wildfires are tearing through Tennessee. The deadly details coming up after the break.
We may finally be getting a break from the rain, but you may have to trade in for your umbrella for a winter coat because we have some cold temperatures moving in. All more on that, plus your extended forecast coming up on Newswatch.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
Raging wildfires have ripped through Tennessee with devastating results. 7 have died and several families are still searching for loved ones. CNN meteorologist Jennifer Gray reports from Gatlinburg with the latest.
This is crazy.
Search and rescue efforts underway this morning in fire-ravaged eastern Tennessee.
This is the largest fire in the last 100 years of the state of Tennessee.
Firefighters continuing to put out flames and bracing for the possibility of spot fires after a terrifying 24 hours that left at least 250 homes and businesses destroyed and forced more than 14,000 residents and tourists to flee to nearby shelters.
You just don't know what to do. I mean, you sit there, you're expecting to come on a vacation and find out that you can't get back to your family.
Drivers capturing terrifying video as they scrambled to escape the fires Monday night. At least 3 people have died since the flames spread with little warning. Officials now say the fire is human-caused. Denise Bearden and her fiance, Mark Bishinwell, were asleep when the inferno reached their doorsteps. Police rescuing them just in time.
Flames were just everywhere. On both sides of the road, crossing the road, ambers flying everywhere. It was a nightmare.
Like many others, they are unsure when they can return home or what they'll find.
That's the hard part. You just don't know if it's still going to be there or not. We may go back to absolutely nothing. We have each other, and that's all that matters. We made it out with our lives.
Others praying their loved ones are safe. Michael Reed has not heard from his wife or 2 daughters since Monday night as they tried to escape.
I've called the other shelters here. They said she isn't there. Just hoping for a miracle.
Thousands of residents were forced to leave their homes after fires consumed about 15,000 acres of the resort-heavy area of eastern Tennessee.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Ananda Harris. Right now in Athens, we're finishing off the day pretty warm, still 56 degrees here. And check out that humidity right now. We're at 89%, so feeling very muggy out there. Across the region, very humid across most areas because of that rain that we had earlier. But things still fairly nice with those warm temperatures. 54 up in Columbus, 57 over in Ripley, and 56 right now in Ironton. Now today we see we were well above normal for that high at 62 degrees, that normal being 49. But don't worry, we are going to cool down a little bit tomorrow. For the low this morning, we were also above normal, about 14 degrees. So again, we're going to see those cool down a bit as we move into December. Looking at our precipcast, right now we see this low pressure system moving off to our east. That's what's been giving us those showers throughout the day. With that, there was a cold front that will continue to push through the region, dropping those temperatures. For tomorrow, we see that pushed all the way to our east, so we should have some relief from that rain. However, we still do get the effects from that low pressure to our north, giving us some cloudy skies, so not very likely to see some blue skies over the next few days. And overnight tonight, we're going to drop down to 38 degrees, so not too cool. We may have some slight showers earlier on in the night, but those should clear up as we go through toward the morning. Overnight temperatures all in the mid to upper 30s. For tomorrow then, we're not going to warm up quite as much as today, only hitting 44 degrees in Athens by 4 p.m. Again, we're going to see those cloudy skies hanging around, but no rain expected in our forecast for tomorrow. The high is going to be 45 in Athens, so a lot closer to that seasonal average for tomorrow. Across the region, temperatures tomorrow all in the 40s, 43 up in Columbus, 44 over in Marietta, and our warmest point at 48 degrees down in Ironton. May see a few little rays of sunshine in the morning, but we're going to cloud back up in the afternoon. For your 7-day, we see those cloudy skies hanging around most of the weekend. Your first chance for a decent amount of sunshine is going to be on Saturday. We see that low pressure continuing to move out, giving us a slight break from those clouds. But then on Sunday, we're going to have an upper level disturbance, bringing us a chance for some rain. That should clear out though by the beginning of your work week, and temperatures are going to heat back up a little bit with a high of 48 degrees on Monday. And we're going to be back into the 50s by midweek with a slight chance for rain on Tuesday and Wednesday. Over to you, Abby.
Thanks, Ananda. As women age, they have to take additional steps to stay healthy. They can't always get away with some of the things they did in their youth. A new study indicates that for older women, a high-protein diet might not be the best thing. Kim Hutcherson has that in today's Health Minute.
Women over 50 who eat high-protein diets could have a greater risk of heart failure, especially if a lot of their protein comes from meat. That's according to a study presented at the annual scientific conference of the American Heart Association. The study examined the protein intake of nearly 104,000 women aged 50 to 79 over a 5-year period. Participants self-reported daily food intake, but since self-reporting is often unreliable, researchers also used biomarker data to determine actual protein intake. Although all participants were free of heart failure during the study period, about 1,700 of them developed the problem by 2005. Researchers found that postmenopausal women who followed a high-protein diet had a significantly higher rate of heart failure. In fact, the risk was almost double. Meanwhile, women who ate less protein or who ate vegetable protein appeared to be at a lower risk of heart failure. The study's authors say more research is needed to determine whether this result is linked to the molecular mechanisms of animal protein, lifestyle choices, or other factors. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Protein is found in dairy products, meat and poultry, seafood, beans and nuts, and is considered essential for healthy muscles, bones, and skin. Now let's head over to Tony to see what's coming up in sports.
Good evening, I'm Tony Heim. Coming up in sports, some Ohio football players received all MAC honors before the title game on Friday night in Detroit. And it was a busy day as both Ohio basketball teams are in action. We have those stories and more coming up next on Newswatch. And stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities. And of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Welcome back. I'm Tony Heim. Before Ohio takes on Western Michigan in the MAC title game on Friday night in Detroit, today was a good day for the Bobcats as 2 players received MAC Player of the Year awards and several others received MAC Players of the Year All-MAC team honors. Ohio senior defensive end Terrell Basham took home the MAC Defensive Player of the Year. Basham led the MAC with 10 sacks and became the all-time sack leader in Ohio history with 29 career sacks. Freshman safety Javon Hagan was named the MAC Freshman of the Year. Hagan had 47 tackles this season and led the Bobcats with 5 forced fumbles and 3 interceptions. Redshirt freshman Louis Zervos was named to the All-MAC first-team offense, while Blair Brown, Quentin Poling, and Basham were named to the All-MAC first-team defense. Speaking of the title game, We are only 2 days away from the Bobcats taking on number 13 Western Michigan Broncos at Ford Field in Detroit. Kickoff will be Friday night at 7 p.m. on ESPN2. Leaving the gridiron and stepping onto the basketball court, the Ohio men's basketball team travels to Huntington, West Virginia for the first time since 2011 to face off against the Marshall Thundering Herd. The Bobcats enter the game on a 4-game win streak and look for a 5th straight win for the first time since the 2012-2013 season. Ohio leads the MAC, only allowing 65 points per game and have 4 starters averaging over 10 points a game. The team is really getting it done on both ends of the court. This is not going to be an easy game for the Bobcats, however, as Marshall heads into the matchup with a 4-1 record. The Thundering Herd are holding teams to shooting under 30% from the three-point line, while Ohio is shooting an incredible 45% from deep. This is going to be a strength versus strength matchup. The game is set to tip off in just a couple of minutes on the Ohio IMG network. And the women's team already played today, and they improved to 5-0 on the season with the 73-52 win over the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders. The Blue Raiders hung in there with Bob's Ballers for most of the game, but Ohio went on a 13-2 run at the end of the third quarter, putting the Blue Raiders away for good. With the victory, Ohio is one of 4 programs in the country to have undefeated men and women's basketball teams. Ohio returns to the court on Saturday when Duquesne comes to the combo. Tip is at 1 p.m. And moving from the college women's ranks and into the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers fell to the Milwaukee Bucks last night by a score of 118-101. Cleveland came into the night with only 2 losses on the year, and early on, the game looked to keep it that way. The Cavs asserted a 14-point first-quarter lead, but after that, it was all Milwaukee. The Bucks held a slim lead heading into the locker room at half, but outscored the Cavs by 14 points in the third quarter and never looked back. Giannis Antetokounmpo led the way for Milwaukee, tying a career high with 34 points. Cleveland looks to rebound from the loss as it hosts the Los Angeles Clippers on Thursday night at 8 p.m. on TNT. I'm Tony Heim. That's it for sports. Back to you, Carter.
Penn State students know her as the Squirrel Whisperer, or even Squirrel Girl, which suits Mary Krupa just fine. The Penn State senior is skilled at putting tiny hats on squirrels that live on campus and having them hold miniature props. She's been interacting with the animals since her first week on campus. Krupa was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, a mild form of autism. She says the squirrels have helped her come out of her shell.
And here's a final look at your weather. Overnight, we're going to see any of those scattered showers eventually push out of the region. Things aren't going to get too cool tonight. We're only going to drop down to a low of 38 degrees. But for tomorrow, we're going to start off December with some cooler temperatures, only reaching a high of 45 degrees. So hopefully you got a chance to get out and enjoy those warm temperatures at the end of November. Now tomorrow we are going to see those clouds sticking around the region. For Friday we're going to get a little bit of sunshine, but we do have a low pressure system. It's going to give us some kind of gloomy conditions over the next few days. On Saturday though, we're going to see a little bit of sunshine before on Sunday we get another chance for some rain. Now for the beginning of the week, we're not going to see any rain for Monday, but on Tuesday and Wednesday that chance for rain is going to sneak back in there. But those temperatures are going to warm up a little bit by midweek, so another chance to enjoy some warm weather in early December. For your lows though, we're going to be right around normal, hitting the low to mid 30s for your nighttime lows throughout the week. That's all for weather. Over to you, Carter and Abby.
Thanks a lot, Ananda. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Carter Eckel.
And I'm Abby Grisey. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.